Landlords in Ontario are in trouble, but it will become an even bigger problem for tenants. So in just 4 years, tenants have accumulated over $267 million of unpaid rental debt. This data comes from OpenRoom. They collect court order data related to residential tenancies across Canada, and they make them accessible for all landlords. The Landlord and Tenant Board unfortunately tends to favor tenants. This makes it difficult and time-consuming to remove problematic renters. If a tenant stops paying rent, it can take over a year to evict them due to the backlog of the Landlord and Tenant Board. During this time, a landlord will have to cover all expenses, and on top of that, they may not even be able to recover lost income. Since rent prices are down, many landlords on top of that are facing financial problems. Most of them are having to kick in more money than they're receiving to cover things like mortgage payments, maintenance costs, and property taxes. There are now two big problems for tenants. Number one, investors are selling their rental properties because they just don't think that the hassle is worth it. This means there will eventually be less places to rent, pushing rent prices higher. Number two, landlords are not taking a chance on tenants whose credentials may not be the best on paper just because it's going to be impossible to evict them. Many tenants do have the approach of saying too bad, so sad for landlords, but ultimately it's affecting them too. In my opinion, there should be an immediate eviction for non-payment of rent with a grace period of only 30 days. Barring that the landlord is not doing anything illegal, there should be no excuse why a tenant doesn't pay their rent. A landlord should not have to wait over a year just for a court date just to hear why a tenant can't pay. And this is exactly why Wei Ling Bolu, she's the CEO and co-founder of OpenRoom, started this company. After being a landlord herself, she had a non-paying tenant that nearly took her 2 years to evict. She realized that there were many landlords just like herself who were dealing with disputes in the Landlord and Tenant Board courts. OpenRoom is now helping to build a court order search engine. This will now help landlords get transparency, avoiding tenants who know how to play the system. The system of landlords and tenants is completely broken and it needs a change right now. Do you think that tenants should be immediately evicted if they don't pay their rent? Or should we continue with the current system that we have in place? I want to hear from you.